Welcome to another episode of Amplify with Amanda Sepp. I'm your host, Amanda Sepp, and here is where we bring on thought leaders, people who are movers and shakers, who are really making an impact in community. Today, we're talking about something that impacts everything: your mood, your health, your relationships, and your leadership: sleep. Joining us is LaShasta Bell, LPC, a sleep strategist and CEO of I Choose Me. She's here to break down the racial sleep gap, the real cost of sleep deprivation, and why rest is resistance, with practical steps you can start using right away. Before we get started, LaShasta, please give me 3 words that best describe you.
Oh my goodness. Thank you for having me first off. I'm so excited to be here. So, 3 words I would say collaborative, intuitive, and creative.
Mm, mhm. Okay. Now, LaShasta, for someone who is just hearing about you for the very first time, could you tell us just a little bit more about you?
Oh goodness. If you're hearing about me for the first time, welcome to my world. I am a licensed professional counselor, supervisor, certified sleep science coach, and certified corporate wellness coach. All that to say, I teach people how to sleep from an individual level, one on one with consultations and coaching, to a corporate level of building out corporate wellness programming that actually centers on mental wellness with a focus on sleep and rest. I am a mother of two, so I have a 20-year-old and a 3-year-old. Y'all heard me right. Yes, I started over, as people like to say. I like to say continuing because, when you build a new business, they never say, oh, you starting over. No, you're continuing in business. Parenting doesn't stop. I am a proud graduate of the Prairie View A&M University, and as well as a member of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated. I like good food. I like to just try new things. I'm recently single, just for the people. What else? I think that's it. Like I love what I do. I love to have a good time. I like to share the information where it's relatable, digestible, and actionable.
I love that. I love that. And I can appreciate what you say about not really starting over, but having some new things happening in your world. And congratulations to you and all of that. Now,
Thank you.
you're welcome. You're welcome. Now, I want to get right into this racial sleep gap. What does that mean in real life? What are you saying? I've never even heard that term before.
Really. So, I mean, let's be honest. We know that there are so many different dynamics uh, in race, in gender, in culture, in across the board, from education to finances to home ownership. Sleep is no different. So there is a racial gap between our black and brown and the white counterparts as it relates to sleep. And it literally goes back to, you know, when there was a strategy to stay awake for survival.
Mm.
And in this Black History Month, I think is very, very important for us to get it out and talk about it and understand that we are not our ancestors. We are not having to do the things that they had to do. It's different. Just like our kids don't have to get it out the mud, a lot of them, because we already did that same thing. So that whole work twice as hard tax that we walk around with ends up leading to less sleep, ends up leading to less rest. So then it creates the racial gap because also, the rest was sacrificed. Our ancestors didn't have a choice. If they were seen resting or sleeping when they shouldn't be, it would cost them their life. And now, fast forward, us not resting and us not sleeping is costing us our life. Imagine that.
Mhm. Either way, you know what? That is such an interesting perspective, and it does make sense. It's almost like it's in our blood to have this, to do that. It's like it's in our DNA to an extent. Um, I also think about when my family, parents, and before them would wake up at 4 a.m. and 2 a.m. Up before the sun comes up, and all these types of things. And so that has instilled in me a sense of that means I'm being productive. Tell me a little bit about
Mm.
people believe about sleep and production?
Absolutely. So when you say it's counted in our blood, it absolutely is in our blood. Epigenetics is real. So just like there are positive attributes that are passed down, there are mannerisms and characteristics that are passed down, and it becomes our legacy. And my whole thing is it doesn't have to be our legacy. And yes, we were taught to be busy and to be doing something that was productive. I can't tell you how many times I heard, "Oh, an idle mind is a devil's workshop," AKA don't sit around doing nothing. Like I'm just saying, like how many times have we heard that? Like don't sit around and not be doing anything. And to your point, we thought that was a good thing to always be moving. To always be moving means being productive, but that's absolutely not true at all. I'll tell a story. I had a previous client, and she would constantly travel. And she would say, "I travel so I can rest. I
Mhm.
travel so I can sleep well." And it got to the point that she was just like, "Look, I need to learn how to rest where I pay my mortgage. It's getting expensive to keep traveling for rest." And so we did the work, and this is when I worked as a therapist, of discovering where did this messaging come from. And I asked her the question of, in your childhood, when did you get to rest? When did you get to relax? And her answer was, when I went to Medea's house. We would watch the stories together. So what she learned is work is home, away is rest. So it went from going to Medea's house for the summer or for the weekend to leaving home. And to her point, she was like, when I was at home, even if my mom sat down to watch TV, she'll say, "Let's get this load of clothes and fold these clothes." So we're doing something while
Mhm.
we're watching TV.
Mhm.
And so we've been taught that's ingrained. And so we literally have to choose to rewire our brains. And in order to do that, we have to address the maladaptive relationship that we have with sleep. That sleep is necessary for survival. Rest is productive. Sleep and rest are two different things. Although sleep can be a form of rest, they are not synonymous. And I think that that's really what we have to understand the difference. And what I found is, in order for people to understand and be willing to change, they got to know what's wrong with it. You literally have to. I literally have to tell them, you're killing yourself. You're out here killing yourself by not going to bed. And once I get the attention from that, then we can move on.
I got to tell you, you got my attention. And it makes me think about when I go to visit my parents out of town, I get the best sleep. And then I come back to Houston and I'm doing all the things that I normally do. So now I've got to rethink about how and why I do the most sleep when I visit them. And then when I come back home again here, I'm just like, now I'm amped and I'm ready to do all the things that I normally do. So now I'm going to get my schedule in order with that, and I'm going to rethink about why I do that. Can you talk?
Absolutely.
Yeah, can you talk a little bit about stress and anxiety and how it shows up in our sleep, even when we feel fine? And if you could touch on, I think it's called REM sleep or something like that. I think I actually experienced that a couple times. But just touch on
Yes.
that for us.
So, to your point, yes, I get the reason that you feel relaxed at home with your parents because there's a safety there. There's the emotional safety that takes place. That speaks to the greatness of the household that you grew up in, but also being back home, being in Houston, doing what you do. A lot of times we have hyper arousal that takes place, and
Mhm.
it's due to like systematic stressors, due to discrimination. You're in one space and then in another space, and that stress, systematic. Because let's just say, like you said, even when we feel fine,
Mhm.
in this good old U of S of A, even when life seems well for us, there are systematic stressors. There are systematic discrimination that takes place. And no matter how much we want to not see it, we cannot deny it, the feeling. of it being there and the stressor of it being there, the stress of being pulled over by a police officer, or the stress of having a young son and not knowing exactly where his blue dot is. So those are external stressors that take place. We're not even talking about having to go to work and taking care of the kids and wondering if tomorrow there's going to be a new law that takes place that's going to take away another right that we have as Americans. So when we talk about stress and anxiety, when stress happens, the cortisol in our bodies is released. And the cortisol hormone is designed to help relieve stress, but it's not designed to be released ongoingly. And so when it continues to be released and continues to be released, it disrupts our sleep because we have too much cortisol. Anxiety, is the fear of the unknown. I typically tell people anxiety is either about past things or future things. There's no anxiety in the present moment. So if I stay right here in this moment with you and my mind doesn't go to yesterday or think about tomorrow, I'm good. But how many of us really can be present only? Very few. And so when you're worrying about what has not happened, or you worrying about what did happen and how you could change it, which you cannot, it keeps you up at night. So many times I have clients say, I just can't turn my brain off. I can't turn my brain off. And I'm like, make that make sense. Because nobody walks in their kitchen and say, I can't turn the kitchen light off. Because it's your kitchen, you know where the light switch is. And so part of what has to take place as individuals and as a community, we have to retreat inward to identify where our switch is. Where is our light switch? To turn off our brain, to know how to rest. We have to choose that for ourselves because it's not anything external that can fix it. It has to be an internal work. And that's why I created the Optimal Life Framework to speak to several parts of our lives for individuals to identify what part of my life am I not living optimally. I won't talk to people about pillows and mattresses and weighted blankets. No, I'm trained in all of that, but I'm good because we need to stop looking for the external and start going internal.
What is your take on medication to help you go to sleep? Would that be a form of external, assistance that you are referring to, or what's your take on it overall?
Absolutely, it's an external fix.
Mhm.
A generalization, I'm a God's girl. I believe God give us all that we need to do what we need to do if we take care of our bodies and our minds as we're called to do. That's a big generalization, right? Our body releases melatonin. Why would you go put some melatonin in your body when your body releases it? Like, listen to your body. When your sleep window hit, which for most adults is between 9:30 and 10:30, go to bed. Don't go put anything in the washer. Don't say, let me just send this one more email.
Mhm.
It does no good to use a sleep aid if you're still not going to recognize the signals that your body gives you, if you're still not going to recognize that my body releases melatonin. And if I need more melatonin release, let me get outside for a little bit in the sunlight because it'll help my melatonin to release earlier in my body. So while I'm not I'm not anti either, but I wholeheartedly believe the skill and the pill go together. So if you're just going to medicate, even if it's a sleep gummy that is natural from the earth, or if it's not a prescription medication, a lot of people will medicate with NyQuil, and they even have some that's like a sleep quill or whatever, and think that, oh, it's okay because it's over the counter. It's not designed to be forever. And if you're not working to decrease your stress, if you're not working to move your body, if you're not working to identify your relationship and your core values around rest and sleep, then why bother with that sleep aid? Because literally, eventually, over time, it's going to break something else.
As we're noticing what we notice and taking action and finding the root cause of why we doing what we're doing, what are three signs someone is sleep deprived that people often ignore?
falling asleep quickly. That's the biggest one. People will talk about it and they say it like a badge of honor. Ooh, girl.
I can sleep anywhere.
I can sleep anywhere. It don't take me but a couple minutes. My head hit the pillow and I am gone. And I'm like, you know that you sleep deprived, right?
Guilty as charged, LaShasta.
So that is the number one, I would say, that people don't recognize. Another sign of sleep deprivation is brain fog, cognitive impairment, not being able to make the sharpest decisions, or rethinking the decision you made because you're not sure if it was the best decision. And you're not sure if it was the best decision because your brain hasn't had the time to do what it needs to do to make the best decision. So making small errors also, just different small errors in writing an email or a project, the second guessing, those can all be signs of sleep deprivation that people do not realize is tied to sleep.
There's a new, or I don't know how new it is, but there's a movie on Netflix called Awake, and it talks about these things that you're mentioning today about what happens when you don't get enough rest and not being able to make sharp decisions and being delusional to an extent. I can really appreciate what you're saying. And for someone who has heard all of this insight that you provided today, what can they do to start with one change tonight? What should it be?
Okay. And before we get there, I'm a stats girl. One of my friends actually called me stats because she said, you always got some random stats that you spew. So I gotta get my little feel of my stats because I really need the listeners, the viewers to understand it's a problem. It's an immediate problem. Sleep deprivation was considered a problem and a natural what is it called? Not disaster, but how COVID was labeled by the CDC. Sleep deprivation was labeled that way well before the pandemic. Sleep quality and sleep patterns has gotten worse since the pandemic because a lot of people are experiencing anxiety from the pandemic to this day. So I need people to understand that 7 of the 15 chronic diseases are tied to sleep deprivation. Now, it's not going to say on your death certificate, died by sleep deprivation, but in the Black and Brown community, it will say diabetes. It will say heart disease. It will say obesity. And those are 3 that are tied, of the 15 that are tied to sleep deprivation. There are also 3 that plagues our community tremendously. I also need you guys to understand that Black Americans, we are twice as likely to report sleeping less than 7 hours. And so when you're sleeping 6 to 7 hours on average, you add up all your nights and you average in 6 to 7, your mortality rate is still about 7%. If you are sleeping 5 to 6 hours on average, your mortality rate goes up to 13%. Like I really need the people to understand that we got to go to bed. It's in our control. It's one thing that we can truly control is when we go to bed, how we go to bed, and waking up the next morning around the same time. Going to bed around the same time, waking up around the same time is ideal 7 days a week. Now your question. Sorry, I be having to have my moment. I be having my moment. I tell people, I'm like, I'm Black everywhere, but I'm blackity black in Black History Month. And I need the people to understand to go to sleep, go to bed. The one thing that they could do, the one simple thing that they can do is in the evening, when that first yawn hits, start preparing to go to bed. When that first yawn hits you, be aware, because our body lets us know, like just saying, you know what, my body is telling me to shut it down. Any decisions I make, anything I try to do from this moment on is going to take me almost twice as long, and it won't be as effective. And I'm probably going to redo some of the stuff tomorrow anyway, because I was tired doing it. So let me just go to bed.
Mhm, mhm. Can we talk a little bit about boundaries that leaders can create for themselves to protect their sleep? Can we touch on that just a little?
Absolutely. I love talking about this one. Uh, time, boundaries around your time, boundaries around your energy. I often talk about time management versus energy management because people want to think it's the same, but you have to focus on managing your energy, who you give what to and when. There are certain people that cannot get on my phone after 6 p.m. because they're the same kind of people that you can't put on speakerphone when you're in the car.
Mhm,
So we all got them friends. We all got them families and members, and they're different for different reasons. You know, you can't put them on speakerphone for different reasons. But
mhm,
also, that means they may say something real random out their mouth that impacts my mood, that impacts my energy when I'm on my way to my sleep hygiene, through my sleep hygiene. So it's just some people I'm like, I don't want to hear about who died. I don't
mhm,
want to hear about who got shot at 7 o'clock. I'm gonna have to talk to them before 6 because typically that may be their conversation. So that's me managing my energy. Also putting boundaries around your time. Let your smartphone be smart. I
mhm,
have so many different do not disturbs on my phone.
mhm,
And I like to tell the story of early last year or mid-year last year. I was dating this guy and I was really like not wanting to date him anymore. So we was having that conversation. And so he started telling me about how he cared for me and this, and this. And I hear my phone say, like, you have 5 minutes until do not disturb. I didn't know, Amanda,
mhm.
that the phone was gonna hang up on the man.
Wow. Was it the
When
phone or
the
was that a user? Uh,
No, it was the phone because I had the do not disturb set for 10 o'clock. So at 10 o'clock, he not on the favorites list, the phone hung up. It's like the call is done. And I had
mm,
never experienced that before because typically, probably if I'm on the phone at 10 o'clock, it's somebody that's close to me that's on my favorites list. So they get a bypass.
mm,
But to my point, we have to set the boundaries for ourselves first before we can set them for others. So that boundary was for me to ensure that even in the dating space and doing something new and different, that I respected my bedtime of 10:30 by being off of the phone by 10 o'clock.
mm,
So yes, we can talk boundaries, but give them to yourself first before trying to enforce them with other people.
mm.
No one is having you scroll on Instagram and TikTok and threads. You're choosing that. However, if you put limits on those apps on your phone, then I give myself 45 minutes. When I hit the 45-minute mark, it shuts down. And I literally have to read it and say, ignore it for a minute, ignore it for 15 minutes, ignore it for the rest of the day. Now, in that time of reading, my brain will go from a right brain emotional response of, oh, I want to click, I want to scroll, to a left brain rational response of, is this what you need to be doing right now?
Mm.
Because it only takes a nanosecond, according to the research. So the leaders have to be willing to put the boundaries in for themselves. And once again, going back to the fact they have to create a healthy relationship with sleep and rest and understand its value in their world before anything else will work.
How have you seen your life elevate from this practice that you've developed?
Oh my goodness. Oh, it's so many different ways. So I'm 45 years old. I have no
You
medical
don't
health
look a
conditions.
day over 32. Stop it.
Well, thank you. And you know, I don't rarely get 32, but I definitely get 30s all the time. Um, so I have no health conditions. I sleep well. I think well. I can get things done with work because I own two companies with work a lot quicker than most people. And so I'll get my things done and I'll be, kind of resting and relaxing. And people are like, well, how do you do all this? And I have a 3-year-old. So not too long ago, I had an infant that I was traveling the world. I'm breastfeeding. I see the difference. My energy is different. My intuitiveness, like I can really tap into it. Where before it was there, like in my I would say my sleep journey, because I had a maladaptive relationship with sleep like everybody else. So I would say my sleep journey started well before I became certified in an expertise in it. Like I did the journey myself and was tracking, I've been tracking my sleep for maybe about 6 years now. And so prior to that, I was staying up all night, doing all the different things, being tired, being irritable. So I find myself being more patient, less irritable. My intuitiveness is stronger than it's ever been in life, where it's been there, but it was so foggy that I question it. Like I said, my health. I exercise. I eat. My eating. I got a little sugar addiction. That's a whole nother thing. I'm recovering. Let me stop manifesting that. But my life is very much different. It's really is the optimal life. And that's the reason I created the framework to help people understand that the optimal life is what you choose. It's by your own design. So when people say, well, you are almost done, why have another child? Because I wanted to. And I asked the Lord if it's meant to be, let it be. And he let it be the first day of the last year that I was going to try to have the child. So I don't need no other reason
Yeah.
besides that my optimal life included having another child at
It's
42.
interesting that you mentioned a child, and a newborn, and sleep. Those two can be polar opposites. It doesn't exist. You know, how were you able to sort of create that sleep pattern for yourself, sleep habit for yourself, and raise a newborn? Or did you change
So
your schedule based on the newborn?
initially, yes, because the newborn is a newborn.
Mhm.
But research says that a baby can sleep train and sleep through the night metabolically at 12 pounds. So once a baby hit 12 pounds, they have the ability biologically to sleep through the night. It's about the parent choosing to create an environment that allows that. So my big boy was 10 pounds when he was born. So it didn't take us long to hit 12 pounds, but I did wait. I did wait a little bit past 12 pounds. So I would say my little London has been sleeping through the night consistently since about like 7 months. And he, to this day, sleeps 10, 11 hours a night. He also understands when I say, or his dad says, we're resting because we taught him the value of rest. We taught him the reason that it's important to rest. So there will be moments that he will say that he needs to rest. So once again, it's about creating a culture where this practice is acceptable, where the practice is necessary for survival and for thriving. So if I tell him I need a moment, I'm getting ready to rest, or let's take a nap, we're taking a nap. And he takes a nap every day. And I let him sleep as long as he likes on the weekend. So where others may say, oh, it's a party at 1, I'm gonna take my kid. No, my kid will be napping. He will have parties later. So we prioritize that. And even with my 20-year-old, I taught him about prioritizing his sleep because we both have diagnosis of ADHD. And when we're sleep deprived, those symptoms have us on fire. You literally can't do anything. It's hard to function. And so that's how I've built my life and my business around the thing that I struggle with. I found a solution, and now my goal is to offer that solution to others, including taking a group of women to Costa Rica.
When are you going to be doing that? And is that something that we can sign up for today?
Absolutely, absolutely. So I'm co-hosting a retreat from hustle to harmony, the optimal life, the beauty of success through an optimal life. So that's what we're talking about, from the hustle to the harmony. It's going to be in Costa Rica, June 21st through the 26th. We are inviting high achieving founder women. We're allowing the women to define how they are founders. Some of us are founders in our household. Some of us are founders of companies, nonprofits, boards, little leagues. Whatever it is, we're welcoming and inviting the women to come and learn how to rest, come and learn how to align themselves with their purpose or realign themselves with their purpose, and to do it in community, because it's important that we all understand that we heal in community. We can hold one another accountable in community. And so we're excited. Kendra Bracken Ferguson and I are doing that in June. I'm also co-hosting a podcast, The Beauty of Success. We're talking all things wellness this season 6, and I'm just excited to be able to let the people know.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Can you, lastly, as we're talking about what you want viewers to know, when they're tempted to sacrifice sleep, what should they say to themselves before deciding to do that?
I mean, is it worth it? Because literally, I've been going live this week about sometimes it is worth it. I just came back from New Orleans. I went to the Zulu Ball for the first time. It was worth it. But if you're going to make that decision, make sure you decide how you're going to repair the rupture, and that it shouldn't be an everyday rupture. It could be an occasional rupture. So when it's 10 o'clock and you're in the middle of Alex Cross episode, and your eyes getting heavy, go ahead and tell yourself it's streaming. It'll be here tomorrow. Because if I stay up and watch it, I'm going to be rewatching it tomorrow anyway, because I'm going to forget what happened. Did he really do it? Understanding that whatever it is that's competing for your sleep can wait, because the alternative is that you're slowly killing yourself. So is it worth dying for?
Now we've got to find out how to get in touch with you, how to connect with you, and how we can learn more about your practice in sleep.
So I choose me counseling.com, LaShastaBell.com are my two websites that you guys can find me at. LaShasta Bell on all platforms, and I choose me on all platforms. I choose me counseling on all platforms.
LaShasta Bell, thank you so much for joining me here today on Amplify with Amanda Sapp. I'm going to get rest more intentionally moving forward, and I'm definitely going to think about why I do what I do as it relates to sleeping more of my parents. And then when I come home, I'm going to deep dive into all of this. So, Ms. Bell, I appreciate you, and congratulations to you on all the things that you are doing, and your podcast and the 3-year-old and all of the newness that comes along with you. I'm really excited for you. Congratulations.
Absolutely. Thank you. Oh, and I forgot to say I'm writing a book. So y'all be on the lookout for that, because a whole book is coming about. It's going to sound just like this podcast.
What's the name of the book? And I'm sure we'll be able to go to your website to find it, but what is the name of the book?
So the title of the book is Don't Sleep on Sleep. And I'm the hopes is to have it dropping by the end of this year. I'm really taking my time with it, because I want to make sure that any person that picks it up will be willing to change their life in the way they sleep after they finish it.
LaShasta, with someone who's getting so much sleep, it sounds like you've got so much time to do all the things that you want. So you're a living testament to your work and your developments in what sleep and rest looks like. So thank you for sharing that with us today here on Amplify with Amanda Sapp. I'm looking forward to all of the newness again that you've got coming up.
Thank you so much, Amanda, for having me.
Absolutely.